Hey guys, it's been almost 2 weeks since I did a video, so it's time to give somewhat of an update of how things are going. I got to tell you guys, the trucking in a whole right now is really struggling. I'm on the second load in a row to where the warehouse is short with workers, which, as you all know, when they're short, then that slows production down. Not being Mr. Negative here or anything, but it's starting to become more and more prevalent again, like it was right after COVID. I don't know if all you other guys are seeing the trend with this happening. And I'll tell you guys straight up, if you're a Swift guy or if you do spot market and you do Amazon, this is probably my third or fourth Amazon load that I've done since I've been in the trucking business. I've just never had the opportunity. But the two times that I did it, when I was in the spot market, both of them, were at least 8 hours waiting time. And at the time, it really didn't matter to me because I needed to get a reset in, and people had already told me that the waiting time was going to be that way. So I kind of planned it into my day and just planned on doing a reset. But this past weekend on Sunday, I had an Amazon load, and it was a delivery at 11 a.m. I was on time. Problem was, and again, I don't think it was really Swift's, well, it wasn't Swift's fault by any means at all. The pickup or the delivery number was wrong. And I say wrong, the information that the guy in India, if any of you all know, ever did an Amazon load, you pull up to a TV screen and the guy is in India. You can tell by the accent. And, they're checking you in. Well, he tells me that the delivery number starts with a 99. Anytime you go to places like this, they usually have, consecutive delivery numbers, and they're going to be kind of the same, or pickup numbers if you pick up. Well, he said it started with a 99. Well, that wasn't right. And I didn't have the number within my notes that I was given. So I had to go out of the facility. Now, again, I had to go completely around the whole building, and the building was huge, and it was literally a year or 2 years old. Keep that in mind, and I'll get to that in a minute. So I had to go all the way around the building to go out to the exit, and it took me a good 5-10 minutes to get checked out because, again, you got to talk to somebody in India. It is a secure facility. You just can't, go into this place without checking in and going through that. And I'll get to that again in a minute too. So I go out of the facility, and you can only make a right turn. So I had to make a right turn, go down about a mile, do a U-turn, and then, and the way the U-turn was set up, they had the concrete on the edge of the curb to where, big trucks can turn around. But still, traffic was pretty busy, and doing a U-turn there really wasn't the safest of options. I'm not a big U-turn guy. I do when I have to, but I don't like, excuse me, I don't like doing it. But you had to in that situation. So did a U-turn, went back around to the gate. Well, guess what? The 99 is at the end of the number, not at the beginning of the number. And that's why there was some confusion. So, with all this being said and done, and, making the phone calls that I need to make to Swift, to the planners, and getting all this done on a Sunday at that, not a weekday, but a Sunday. Everybody's slow on Sundays. They work their skeleton crews, and Swift is, no different about that. And again, I don't blame Swift at all on this. So go back around, get the correct number. When this is all said and done, I'm at, 12:15 at this time. So it takes me, over an hour to get all this done, make the turn, go back around, go outside the building. So I get back into the gate again. Well, now the number's correct and they let me in the gate. So now my delivery is an hour and 15 minutes late. Again, not my fault, not anybody's fault, but, just them not having the proper number relayed to me. So there's a little bit of a communication breakdown with the guy in India, but it is what it is. It's no big deal. They didn't not let me come in. So I went in and sat they gave me a spot to sit in. I sat with the trailer about 1:30 in the afternoon. It was about an hour later. They called me, say, go into door 203. So I back it into door 203. And at Amazon, you have to detach and go to a separate location. So I went back to the exact same spot that was assigned to me, and proceeded to wait. So about 6 o'clock, I started getting a little concerned. I walk into the building. Yeah, we haven't even touched it yet. I'm like, excuse me? We haven't even touched it. We're short. I'm like, okay. Do we have any kind of idea, when? No, we have no idea. Okay. So went back to the truck. And at this point, I was committed to doing a 10-hour reset again. So about 8:30, I walk in again. Well, the trailer's at about 90%. Okay, 90%, huh? What the hell's been going on? Well, we got all these other trailers we got to empty too before we get to the live loads. Excuse me. Yeah, we got 4 and 5 days worth of trailers that are behind, the blue Amazon trailers that are behind being unloaded. I'm like, okay. Do we have any idea? Nope. We're going to try and get you done by midnight. I'm like, that would be great if you can get me done by midnight. At this point, that 11:30 was when my reset started, and that would be perfect. Midnight comes around. Walk inside. Yeah, they haven't even started on your truck. Excuse me? They said the last shift it was 90% net. Yeah, well, they lied. I said, excuse me, they lied. Okay. I said, it's going to be very perfectly clear. I'm not going to sit here all night long and wait on a load like this. I'm sorry. I don't get paid to sit here. I do, but, it's not enough money. So I said, I'm going to give it to about 3 o'clock. And the young kid, I say kid, he was a manager, but they're all kids anymore to me. But he said, we'll do our best to get you done by 3. I said, well, I'm going to come back in at 3. And at 3, I'm going to call Swift, and we're going to try to make some adjustments if it's not, close to ready already. No problem. 3 o'clock comes around. Yeah, I'm sorry. We just haven't had time to get to it. At this point, we're at like 14, 15 hours in. And I'm like, all right, you just tell me what I need to know. So I started making my phone calls. Now, granted, I knew I wasn't going to get a whole lot done. This is, after midnight Sunday into a Monday. So, I'd go in every little bit to see if anything changed. Nothing changed. So, walked in, actually got a hold of somebody with Swift. The planner started coming in around 7:30. Got a hold of them. They got me to where you can pull the trailer off the door, and we're going to T-call it in Richmond, Virginia. I'm like, really? Okay. So that's 200 miles. Yep, we're gonna T-call it in Richmond. Somebody else can take care of it. You're an owner-operator. You got no business being in that door for 24 hours. Great. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. So I go in, I tell them my plans. They do all what they need to do and turn the green light on. I pull the trailer out. Sure enough, nothing has been unloaded on this trailer. Not even 90%. They completely lied. And, kudos to the manager that told me the truth, because the day shift people did not tell me the truth on anything. Pulled the trailer out, hooked to it, proceeded to go towards Richmond. And again, this is all worked out through the planners and everybody at Swift. Nothing was done wrong or anything that I needed to do, even though I wanted to leave it, earlier than 3 o'clock, but I figured, I had to do the right thing, obviously. I can't just up and leave. I don't want to jeopardize anything for the Swift side. So, about an hour down the road, this is, 10:30 in the morning, Oh, let me back up a little bit. They weren't going to let me out of the gate with a loaded trailer. So we sat there for about an hour, not arguing, but just discussing, because they didn't want to let me go with the loaded trailer, because according to their system, the trailer needed to be unloaded, which was true. But the manager told me, go ahead and pull it out. And my people told me, go ahead and pull it out. Well, eventually, he called who he needed to call, and they said, go ahead and let him out. So that took an hour. So fast forward back, 10:30, I get a phone call from the account rep for Amazon that works for Swift. She's like, can you explain this load to me? And I went through the whole details with her and told her about everything. And after I told her all that stuff, and I told her I'm an owner-operator, I'm not going to sit in the door, and I did. I sat for almost 24 hours. I said, I'm not waiting. She says, can you take it back? And I said, no, I'm not taking it back. She's like, well, it needs to go back and needs to be unloaded. I said, well, you can have another driver take it. I've already got it cleared through my staff that works for me, and it's going to Richmond. It'll be in Richmond. And she said, there's nothing you can do to take it back. I said, not unless you're going to pay me about $1,000 to wait on it. No, nothing's going to take it back, because I'd already lost my next load because of that, because it was due to be picked up at 1 o'clock. So not only that, I'm in a frantic search on the load board trying to find a load to take place of it, which I eventually did, and that's the load that I'm on now, and I'll get to that in a second. So I proceed to Richmond, drop the trailer, find me an empty trailer, do everything I need to, and then I'm here. So the next load that I found is a load that I've done before, picks up, literally 15 miles away from the terminal, and it goes down to West Palm Beach, Florida. There's 2 stops, one in Vero Beach and one in West Palm Beach, which takes me by the house. I can do a 34 at the house tomorrow, and that's what I plan on doing. Well, now I'm here, and I'm not going to give any other, I should have never said Amazon, but Amazon's so big, everybody knows that, but I'm not going to tell you this customer. I'm sitting here. It's supposed to be a 9 o'clock appointment. Now, granted, I sat all day Sunday and all day Monday doing really nothing but driving those miles to T-call that trailer, which was about 200. So here I am again, 9 a.m. I'm here at 7:30 in the morning, and thank God for the guard shack. They're honest. They're about 4 hours behind loading trailers. I'm like, okay. But the good thing is, you're the first one to get loaded this morning after the loads that they got to do for the morning loads. I'm like, okay, I don't know what exactly that means. Well, they got like 5 trailers in front of you. You're the first Swift guy. There's another Swift guy here that's after me, and he came before me, unfortunately, and that's just, I guess, the way the racket goes. But she says they're about 4 hours behind. She said, will it take 4 hours? Probably not, but she can't guarantee. But the good thing is, they do not leave the facilities till all the trailers are done. So I know this load that I have technically isn't due in until Thursday, but my goal is if they can get it done early enough today, I'm going to try and make the delivery tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know if that's going to work out in my favor or what, but I'm going to sure try to make this delivery tomorrow so I can go home and at least get a 34-hour break in. So that's my dilemma, and it's starting to happen more and more frequently where you're running into warehouses where they don't have the people. And back to that Amazon facility couldn't have been any more than a year or 2 years old. Most of them are brand new. Well, this one was pretty brand new, and I don't know how they were short employees. I mean, they literally had employees running around everywhere. I don't know why and how they were short, but according to them, they were. But any of you guys that are in the trucking business, we're all dealing with this the same way, whether you spot market, whether you do contract freight, it don't matter. We're all dealing with this, and it's trucking, and it's going to be this way for a while. Our market's screwed up. Our world's screwed up right now. Nobody wants to work, and when they do want to work, they take their time. That's kind of what's going on at the facility that I'm at. They're taking their sweet ass time because they can. I'm sure they get paid by the hour or whatever, and that's fine, no big deal. But as long as they get me done, lunchtime or so, I should be okay to still make my times with no problem and still get a 34 in. And if I don't get a 34 in, I don't get a 34 in. My only goal is just to get this load delivered tomorrow, and it's only 800 and change. So I can drive most of it today and finish up the rest of it tomorrow, as long as they get me out of here by lunchtime. But that's it, guys. I mean, I'm not having any problems with loads or anything like that. I know I get a lot of calls from guys that want to come over and they want to know, how's the freight market for you? It's not really the freight market. I don't have any problems getting loads, and they're doing a major update on the load board as we speak that'll be ready sometime around Thursday. And supposedly, a lot of the freight's going to go on the load board with this update, and that'll just make things even better, hopefully, if that all works out. But that's it in a nutshell. No problems with freight, no problems with running. Knock on something. Truck's been running good. Haven't had any issues with the truck. No tire issues. Still got a few tires that I got to replace. They're going to be getting done now that the 2 steers have been replaced. They're done. They're paid for. And by the way, the 2 steers, they were about $850 a piece. With Swift's discount mounted and everything, my cost was $773, which is phenomenal. And that's all that I got charged for, was $773. So now the goal is to replace the few drives that I got left, 1 or 2 at a time. They're about $370 a piece, and that's my goal for the next 2 to 3 weeks, and they'll be done too. And the only reason I'm piecing this together, I've heard a lot of people question, why am I doing it? Well, the way I'm doing it, I don't have the cash to come right out and pay for all these tires. I don't have $3, $4, or $5 grand sitting around to do this all at once. So what I'm doing is doing one at a time, because that's the only way that Swift will let you do it. They gave me a cow by getting 2 steers at the same time. But I explained to them, when you replace steers, it's stupid to replace 1 steer and then 1 steer. But if you do 1 steer or 1 tire a week, they don't give you any problems. But when you get to 2, that's when they start giving you problems. But that's the reason why I'm doing one at a time and getting them done. That's it in a nutshell. I don't agree with that either, but I asked to get them all done and then kind of break it out into some payments or something, but they refused to do it. They said they've been burnt too many times in the past. I'm sure me coming back and doing what I've done in the past, that probably didn't help out the matter anymore either, but it is what it is. I'll get them all done, get them all replaced. Like I said, truck's running great. Got no issues, no problems with the truck. Kind of in the market looking to replace this truck in the next 6 months to a year. I don't know which way I'm going to go with it. Obviously, I'm going to try and buy a truck. I think that's the ultimate route. I don't really want to lease again. I do and I don't. I do want to lease because I think it helps the recruiting, but at the same time, the money factor I think is a lot better if you have your own truck. I mean, that's just kind of proven it along the way. So I'm in the market for a new truck. Hopefully by the beginning of the year, I'll be into something else. Not that this truck's a bad truck by any means. Just want to get some more features. I don't want to do a whole lot to this truck more than what I have to. I want to. APU is going to be one big thing for next year. Whether I keep this truck or whether I get a different truck, it's either going to have an APU or I'm going to get one put on, or have one put on this one. So I'm kind of at that point now to where everything that I've done to this truck, is it really worth letting this truck go? I mean, I'll have all new tires on it. I've had all the mechanical work done to it. I'm gonna, obviously I'm gonna have the shocks replaced and some of the airbags. I want to have the airbags replaced, because I think there's not a whole lot of issues with the airbags, but I just want them to all be replaced at the same time as much as I can. And that'll help out the ride a whole lot. I think that's one of the reasons why the ride is the way it is. I think the shocks are at the point where they need to be replaced. And I don't even know what was done to this truck before I bought it. And I know an alignment needs to get done. I tried to get the front end aligned when I came out of the house last week. Times just didn't work out. I ended up going the opposite way of where I needed to go to get it done. So my goal is to hopefully get it done this week, at least get the front end aligned, if not get all of it aligned. But again, like I said, I don't know if it makes sense just to keep this truck or to replace it and get into something else that's unknown. So that's kind of what I'm in the middle of, trying to decide what to do. I'm pretty confident that I'm not going to do a brand new truck or lease with a brand new truck. I don't really want to go through the payment situation with that. I would rather just buy a used truck from, my guy at International, or maybe even looking into Lone Mountain or something like that. I don't know. I'm kind of in the air right now to see what happens. I should be able to pay this truck off sometime by the beginning of the year, maybe middle next year. It's a 2-year lease. Technically, I've got till February of 27, but I can pay it off early at any times, and that's kind of what I'm looking at too, possibly. I only owe about $13,000 on this truck, so I could easily pay it off with no problem. That's it, guys. Any questions, don't hesitate to call me. This really isn't a big recruiting video or anything like that. I know a lot of YouTubers are hacking me about recruiting, and that's okay. I'm not going to address anything like that, but I made it very perfectly clear. That's what I'm doing. I'm recruiting, and I'll say it again. I've got other companies that I bring in to help out and help me out. This channel is about money, and I'm going to repeat to anybody that's out here wanting to come to Swift, and I said it wasn't going to be a recruiting video, but it is. If you want to make steady money, this is where it's at. I'm seeing bad stuff at a lot of other companies. Every one of my guys that I have brought over, all of them are still here making really good money, just like I told them, except for one guy. And unfortunately, the one guy had a situation with the camera, and his lease was terminated because of that. And it's sad. I really like that guy, but that had nothing to do with anything that I told him or anything that I did. I don't know what his driving habits are or anything like that, so I can't really speak upon it, but I just know contract was terminated because of that. Don't forget, got merchandise. Anybody, feel free to reach out and contact me if you want any merchandise. I got hats. I've got different colors. Got coffee mugs. I'm going to have some t-shirts and some polo shirts here soon too. So that's it, guys. I've tried to narrow this stuff down in a 20-minute video as possibly as I could. It's been a little bit. No problems running. No problems making money. It's just more of a problem with the warehouses and the staff that are taking care of the truck drivers. That's the biggest issue that I've been seeing, that I've been dealing with. And that's nothing that we can control or nothing that Swift can control. It's just unfortunate. But again, I'm still 2,500 to 2,800 miles every single week, week in, week out. I still made money last week when I went home. Even with a tire coming out, or actually, yeah, it was the blowout, a service call tire. So even with $600 coming out of my check, I still went home with $1,300. So money's here, guys. I mean, it's absolutely here. So I'm going to end the video here. And again, anybody needs to talk or want to find out more about Swift, I'm here. Or you can contact Michelle. All contact information will be at the end of the video in the description. Have a good day, and everybody be safe.